If you're in this one, go to my new stream I started. It won't let me end the other one. Apparently I have two going. It's weird. I have to go to YouTube Studio and end that one, I guess. I don't know if it'll let me though. Yeah, I don't think I could do it from here. I'll just have to let it end, I guess. Hey Per, the driver, how's it going? I have another live going. For some reason YouTube, I don't know what happened. I couldn't get back on it, so I had to start a new one. Hopefully this one does better. I think I have to plug my phone in just to be safe. Yeah, phone's getting warm. It's 19 degrees Celsius here. Wow, it just jumped up to 30 viewers. Welcome in. Don't forget to hit that like. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm 2 away from 400 subs. After that, we'll try to get to 500. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just, YouTube's been acting weird. It's happened before. Usually the other one just ends automatically because it's just circling. But yeah. I just finished doing a shop order on Uber Eats. It's like 4 items. Supposed to pay $17, but I gotta wait an hour for tip and everything to come through. And then I did a DoorDash 7-Eleven Red Bull run. That was $8.50. Actually, it went up to $9. DoorDash hit 50 cents on me. And then up to 1,000, yeah. We'll see. See how it goes. Let's get to 400 first. Hello, Jamaica girl. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, double tap the screen, hit the like, subscribe if you're not. Try to do my best to entertain. I do mostly gig work. Sometimes I go for walks down in the Fish Creek Park area. Actually, I'm pretty close to it right now. Hopefully you can hear me, because sometimes I have Bluetooth issues. Yeah, I think the sound's okay. Yeah, I was just checking on my other phone. I had it plugged in, so sometimes it mutes it automatically. Sorry if the AC is a little loud. Turn that down a bit.
Imagine looking at the standings today in the Eastern Conference and saying, Florida, Stanley Cup champion.
I got Skip, DoorDash, Skip and Uber Eats running. Still waiting to get on DoorDash. I might have to dash the Central Zone, see what happens.
It definitely is, but it also speaks to, like we talked about,
Need a car wash, though. There's nothing around here, though.
November, right? That whole American Thanksgiving cutoff. Like, there was only
It's going. I just started. Actually, I was home in the morning. Had to take my son to go to school, and I went back home.
Had been in at least a decade, 9 points from first to last. So it just speaks to the parity in the conference.
Tomorrow on Saturday, though, I'll be going a little bit harder earlier in the day. Try to get my 100 goal for doing gig work each day.
Even the Devils are 10 points out. Like, you could see a hot streak. A team goes 5-6 straight wins, and all of a sudden they're a couple points back, or they leapfrog.
Okay, we're back on the DoorDash.
And the Red Wings are both of those teams are having their struggles right now.
Yeah, I don't know how they end the other live
right now, so
it won't let me.
This could very well be a last day scenario again for who locks up playoffs.
See if I can.
This vulnerability, right? They're a little bit vulnerable.
If it lets me resume it from here.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I was speaking before the show about the play of Ottawa and Columbus.
Let's try it. See if it resumes.
Important hiccup last night, but they've been playing.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
They reminded us of the 2012 Los Angeles Kings that had to win.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't take long, and then it'll end.
I mean, we had a healthy Drew Doughty, whereas Ottawa's being asked to do this quietly without the best defenseman, one of the best defensemen in the league. It's Anderson, which is a tough one, and in Columbus, again, it's kind of their goaltending. Both of these great streaks, they coincided with the coaching or the managerial coaching change, as well, but not within the Ottawa situation, but the goaltending, right? They got goaltending. That's the difference. Like that, and to this difference, we joked about whether Jonathan Quick was going to be a Hall of Famer. Down that stretch,
Sure is a way to just force end it.
Subpar game out of Quick. Like every night, he was in top consideration for being a star. And I think in order for Columbus or Ottawa to do it, it has to be, the Allmark show, and it has to basically be, I guess, Merce Leakins has kind of been the hotter of the two. But Jack Greaves has been good too. But they're going to have that quality goaltending every night because it's changed the entire dynamic of both the teams. Yeah. Well, the other part too with Columbus, Jack Greaves went on a heater last year, right around this time.
Yeah, I'll just have to let it run, I guess.
But I keep coming back to
Got
this.
two lives going at the same time.
Otherwise, are proven wrong. If you don't have one guy, you don't have. Like if you have two guys, you don't have any.
I'm at 50 on Uber Eats, 50 Uber Eats Pro. Usually I'm gold, drop to green.
Sorry, Art, your thoughts on that? Is there anybody for me? I don't know. I agree with you. Edmonton went right to the final.
I'd probably turn Spark off.
He lost his job. I'm saying like, oh, you mean like a rotation? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, like a Swayman Allmark. Exactly. 2 years ago could have been.
Yeah, I can dash in the zone now, so I'll do that. It's probably a better idea. To 130.
It doesn't work. So that's what I'm saying. Like these teams. So now that's an even bigger.
19% AR.
Like Buffalo has UPL, but Alex Lyon's starting tonight. And Alex Lyon's been really good for them. Carolina, like who's the team? It's Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay or it's the Islanders. Like those are the two teams that have the guy that you look at and say, okay, he's him. Or you need to choose, to your point, you need to choose one guy that is him. But we also know that goalies have a shorter leash in the playoffs, right? Like the room for error is so much smaller in the postseason than it is in the regular season. So if you have that tandem, you really have to just choose one and not flip-flop and just ride the wave until there's a definitive reason to make that switch. And to your point, it's much easier when you have the star goalie like Vasilevsky or Sorokin. It's much easier to stick to your guns in those situations than it is when you have a 1A, 1B. So when we look at, there's two teams, and they're both from the Metropolitan Division. That I'm completely stunned that they're both here right now, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. The New York Islanders have 39 wins right now, which is not something that I had on my bingo card. I had them as a lottery team, much like the Pittsburgh Penguins. What's the bigger surprise for you?
The bigger surprise for me is the Islanders, only because I think that early season, before the season projections were that both of these teams would be, to your point, draft lottery teams. Maybe the Penguins have surprised. I guess it's like the Ozzy factor, right? Like just the idea that they're on a team. It's almost as if it's not as much of a surprise just because he's so iconic of a player, and you know the trio, and maybe the goaltending was a big question mark there, and so it is surprising there. But I think the whole package of the Islanders. I mean, like Sorokin is a great goaltender. Matthew Schaefer is now a generational player
bourbon at the mall.
That is just tapping into the identity of that team, and they're getting contributions left and right. And like, look, they've earned their spot there. Like they have proven themselves to be a playoff team. I don't know if I'm betting the house on
That's
them.
weird. It wouldn't let me resume when I went back into my live.
The start of the journey as opposed to the.
So I had to start the new one.
You have to tip your hat. Like you got to say this is very impressive what they've been able to do.
Okay, here's one.
Head over back to the other side again.
Matthew Schaefer. If you have Matthew Schaefer and you're the New York Islanders, and the San Jose Sharks come calling and say, we'll give you Macklin Celebrini 1-for-1. You do that deal?
No.
Crazy, right?
No. I don't. I love that. I agree.
I think that's
Mark, you like it more fantasy booking. I love it.
I love it too. It's amazing. Jeff, honestly, that's amazing. We need to get more sleep. I do need more sleep.
They're both generational future captains, right? But why would, I guess my opinion, but everything that, why would you want to trade the guy that has like embraced Islanders identity and has literally redefined it?
I'm a big fan. The guys that are going to the States and San Jose. Honestly, I'm really looking at He's trying to get you and I confused. You know, I'm very thinking about the value of Matthew Schaefer as a player. It's just saying that they're the two best young players in the world. Would you trade with one another? Okay, that's a deal. You know what? That's because, thank you. So you want to think that's the crazy? No, I don't. That's crazier than ever. That's crazier than ever. But it's like you said.
Oh, plugging it in might make the phone hotter.
Pick between Celebrini and Schaefer to start your franchise. Who would you pick?
I like that. I'm taking Schaefer.
Huh?
Okay, because I was trained under, and honestly, I don't think, and this is one I believe, I don't think, I'm going to use two players that aren't, I don't even think they're going to, like, they're both Hall of Famers, and I've used this analogy because this was what we had. We had Stamkos and Doughty, right? And these players are, I think their careers at the end of it are going to be, they're going to play again. Say that, Stamkos, they were both going to Hall of Fame. They're both going to, if you look at their floor is small, they're going to the Hall of Fame too.
Really have to be in that much of a hurry, guys.
I don't think that starts the back end. Now, if he was a right shot, he would be a heartbeat. But yeah, I think he starts the back end. Now, this guy could be one of the best defensemen in the world forever. And that goes into that. Who would you take? Schaefer?
Yeah, I would, but I look, he could be a 50-goal scorer. He could be captain. He's been ranked a couple of times on that. We're literally doing like a 1-to-1.
Yeah, I understand. This isn't even fair to say, like, this is plays. Yeah, but it's also, I say, but, well, no, I'm just saying because it's, I'll tell you, what's with one GM was the year that,
Hey Sam, welcome back. Stupid live, couldn't get back on it, so I had to restart. So you might see two running at the moment.
100%. A guy in the 3 hole.
$5.91 for 4 kilometers. I don't know if I can do that.
But my thing is, we're talking about, and this just speaks to how Matthew Schaefer is just should do it fast and just take it on there. We're talking about Matthew Celebrini, who threw 135 games in his career. One more point than Connor McDavid, who I think believed to be the best player on the planet and maybe the most talented player we've ever seen. Like, that's crazy to see that evolution in such a short time.
You're absolutely right, and I still maintain the only reason Matthew Schaefer was not selected for Team Canada is age. If he was even in his second year,
Oh my God, it's busy here.
if this was his second year with the same level of output and the same
164.9 here.
that level,
2 cents cheaper.
year and a half in the NHL.
For 9, I was just over there.
Guys, and they don't look back at their decisions.
Would,
You know, but I bet you they were like saying, "You could play this," and we're absolutely.
And look at what Matthew Celebrini did, right?
That's what I mean. Yeah. That was kind of the young guy they identified early. But as Schaefer kept making his argument, I bet you as that tournament went on, they would have been like this. He would have just.
He would have thrived, especially with the issues that Canada had with their transition defense.
Some guys did get banged up, but man, the only I think what bothers me about scenarios like you just
847 for
created,
10.
You've been in the room. That's why I also
No, I've been in the room. That's easy because this is. It's because
Oh, a dog, holy crap. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna say something.
I've been bitten by a dog delivering before. I used to deliver flyers. I was delivering like catalogs, I think. I just threw them down on the ground and got bit on the ass.
The Reddit headline is to be. For the record, the Reddit headline is going to read Marchese, Fuda, and
I was like, I don't forget how old I was. Not very, like 12 or something. That was a while ago.
I will deny no either one of you, particularly Marchese, because I really like you.
No, you've done that before, so that's not that new. We try. Honestly, I think looking at like Matthew Schaefer being in the playoffs is going to be so much fun to watch too. Like nobody thought the Islanders were going to get here. Sorokin's been great. Like Sorokin's probably not getting enough personal love right now because I feel like Vasilevsky's getting a bunch. But man, oh man, Matthew Schaefer. Like,
DoorDash, just nothing's
fantastic to watch
coming through.
in the playoffs. Boy, that's going to be a hell of a ride.
And they had their dog like just sitting there, no leash, knowing that they ordered food.
Ardo Cal from the NHL on ESPN and
The dog doesn't know like if what you're doing there.
It's honestly,
Of course, they're gonna chase you.
But again, somebody, and that's the way this works. Somebody by the end of it's going to be, oh, this guy can't do, this guy can't do. These guys right now, and not only are they making us all wow as what they do on the ice and taking teams, like almost willing to teams that were not really ended playoff races, but the way they're handling the media, everything. I just don't want somebody, it's just going to lead to somewhere that's going to be, one has to be better than the other. This guy's negative. I mean, I don't like what this guy eats, or what my God.
well, he might not like me.
Whatever. But I just think they're both such great stories. I don't want any mud.
No.
There's some self-inflicted wounds at some point, so be it. But right now, these guys are mud-free.
Seat
My
warmer on.
point was that, like, I guess what I was getting at was at the beginning of the year, if you had said Macklin Celebrini for Matthew Schaefer straight up, everyone would have been like, of course I'm taking Macklin Celebrini. Right?
Amazon? Oh, okay. Still, well,
I'm of course. Like how great this rise has been has just been
Well, the last week, Schaefer wasn't picking his shoulder off the program at the World Juniors.
Yeah.
How could you not think that?
got more goals in the NHL in 1 year than he did in 70-plus games in the OHL. We got to get out of here. Big thanks to LA Freedom,
Head back.
and Arda O'Cal. Thanks to Mike, Frank, Jake, and Christian. And of course, the Hall of Famer, Topical Sports Hall of Fame, two-time Stanley Cup champion, Mike Fuda. Matt Marchese signing off with the Fan Hockey Show. Enjoy the game tonight. Talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I need a car wash, but I don't want to pay like $20 for one. Jeez. Am I gonna get another order? It's 12:55 here, so How much was your Amazon route? I noticed they're bringing back the 3.5 hour ones. I think there was one for $4 or $100.
Across the street from the train station, look for hour 10. George, this might be our dumbest idea yet, but this is what happens when you lose a bet on the Big Show, and we're going to be raising some money for our friends at Kidsport. It's the Big Show Lemonade Stand.
$98 for 3.5, but it's 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Never done a 4 a.m. Block. Done 6:30 a.m. Prefer the 6:30 ones. 100 for 4. It's not too bad. 25 an hour. How many miles though? I try to do the $30 at least an hour. Usually I can get them done in a lot less time than they give us. Oh, just in time, getting an order. Stupid phone over here. $14.50, 20 units. $12 tomatoes. Chick-fil-A. Why are they sending me a shop order with a... It's always like that, a shop order and a restaurant for two different customers. Like, you're making the other order wait. It's like 20 items on the shop. You don't know which one's paying better, so you're taking a chance at accepting it and declining or unassigning one of them. Afraid I was gonna have to start another one. They let me resume this time. Cool down this phone a bit. Feels a bit better.
it's what we've talked about before, but you want to see some of the kids who are going to be making an impact next year starting to shine. Britton did that. I thought Connor Zary did as well.
Yeah, Zary, it's funny when we talked about him yesterday. It's like, it's been a tough go for him, and I thought he was a little bit of good from Zary yesterday. Obviously scoring that first goal, putting on a little bit of speed, getting by Tyler Tucker there, and I thought his little hacky sack maneuver with the stick there, setting up Jaeger Sharangovich on a goal that was eventually called back. Hey, I mean, he's feeling it, but then there was the one I believe Jen Botterill pointed out on the broadcast. He had a back check on St. Louis's goal.
Yeah.
It was not driving. It was a late shift. He was out there a bit long, and it caught him, and it led to the St. Louis Blues' only goal of the night last night. But again, for guys that needed a goal, I think it was first and 13. I think it was first 11, something like that. But yeah, it was first in a while. Regardless, for Connor Zary, and that's 2 in a row now that Matt Coronado gets to break his streak, and now Connor Zary. So hopefully it gives him a little bit more confidence, because yeah, you want to think he's going to be a big part of this future, at least in a top 9 role with this team going forward. But again, the contract says, hey, this is a prove-it type deal. What can you show me over this final 15 games or so here to really give us a little bit?
Still waiting for orders.
Again, you mentioned it yesterday. Maybe it's just a little over a year
Done
now.
2 so far.
Maybe he needs a little bit more, a year and a half, and maybe we can do this conversation around Christmas time and see where Connor Zary's at really with his strength and going forward. But I thought yesterday was one of his best games in a long while.
Yes, yeah, even with the controller battery starting to die out on him a little bit on that, still showed a lot of. Sharangovich did as well. Those two playing together, I thought were really good, and then Gritton with the shootout winner. So again, everyone working on the things that they want to be working on, including the goalie from last night. Devin Cooley apparently had a checklist of things he wanted to look at, and I will say, when you are going through a season like this, not only do you need the young players to kind of give you that hope, you also need the personalities to have a little bit of fun with it, and Devin Cooley has that in spades, as we found out in his post-scrum last night.
So what's going through your mind when you're watching all those goals get overturned here?
It was just hilarious. Like, the first one is like, okay, whatever, and then the second one, and then the third one, and I was just like kind of laughing in my crease. I couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever seen that, and I'm glad we were able to get the win, because we definitely deserved it, just a couple inches here and there. So
yeah, how satisfying was that win for you? I mean, the third you really battled, and then you came out with your shootout.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it wasn't just awesome because we won. Yes, that was amazing. But the 3 things that I've been kind of grinding on and working on, like I hit it tonight, like puck play, and I didn't miss a single pass. And then I've been working on my poke checks. Well, I haven't really been working on my poke checks. I've just been doing it and missing it every single time. And I finally hit the puck on the poke check. I finally got it on the breakaway, and of course it goes right to the guy, and then they freaking just it could have been a goal easily. So I guess that we got lucky there, but they got lucky like 3 other times, so it evens out. And then what else was I working on?
Shootouts.
Yes, and that's what it is. And then shootouts. Yeah, I kept telling everyone, I was like, one of these days I'm gonna be good in the shootout, and then one of these days I'm gonna have no turnovers. I actually told my D today. I came in the locker room right before the game. I was like, D, my passes have been hot all practice. I was like, there's gonna be no turnovers today. I can feel it. Like, get ready, because they're coming. And I actually did it. So that was great. Last time I said that was. I forget where we were last time, but last time we said that, and I turned it over immediately twice in a row, and they almost scored on it, so I was like, maybe I should say that again. But I think if I just keep saying that and holding myself accountable, eventually it'll work out, and it worked out, so I was really excited.
Yeah, you need guys like that in a season where you play 68 games, you've only won 27 of them. You need to have some personalities like that, dude. A couple of things. One, we talk about Eric Francis being the insider. I think that's the obvious one, where he knew what Devin Cooley was thinking before Devin Cooley even was. He's so much of an insider in the dude's brain. But secondly, that guy has a career in television.
Oh, 100%.
The second that the career is done playing hockey.
Yeah, he's certainly a refreshing breath when you hear the standard hockey conversation out there and whatnot. It's fun. He's a great personality. He's great in that room, and him and Dustin Wolf are a great pair going forward. I think that's one position you don't have to worry about with this group going forward, is you've got a nice pairing here, and who knows what Devin Cooley's future is going to be beyond next year. But hey, I'm not with how tough it's been this year for these goaltenders. Have a little bit of levity in that room from time to time.
with all that's gone through it, Devin Cooley's been a top-notch guy in that dressing room all year. So yeah, great to have him here, and he was good last night. I know that goal that he allowed, not the greatest, but hey, it was the only one he allowed, and he was great in the shootout.
Yeah, he was just so distracted by the lack of a back check from Connor's area. But yeah, and he got most of it too, and it just found its way to trickle through. So the Flames back in action under the Friday night lights at the Dome when they take on the Florida Panthers.
I wonder how Kachuk's going to get reacted to.
Yeah.
Given, I know it's been a few years. He's obviously been away from the Flames, but given the USA thing, and I just wonder how there's going to be maybe a bit of a spur in the saddle tomorrow night. I don't know.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a roller coaster with that, right? Because he wanted to leave. People did not take kindly to that. But then shouted out Calgary after he was done throwing boots to asses for Edmonton. So there was the yay, and now it's back on the American thing. So we'll see how that reaction is coming up, like you said, tomorrow down at...
All right, get in a skip order. See if we can actually do this one.
And yeah, it's going to be a fun one to get both the Florida teams coming through this weekend at the Scotiabank Saddle. And where are we going next?
Actually, last Friday game of the season for the Flames.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Where we're going next is Austin Matthews, as the Toronto Maple Leaf captain is expected to have surgery as part of his recovery from an MCL tear. That, according to some sources with Sportsnet on Thursday, he is expected to make a full recovery in time for next season, so that is good. As we all know, Matthews was injured in a knee-on-knee collision with Radko Gudas last Thursday and ruled out for the rest of the season. So I do wonder if this is something that they would try to be a playthrough or something like that if it was a team that was competitive. We have seen teams try to do just rehab and not do the surgery thing, but get it taken care of. This makes a lot of sense and really just puts the final nail in that coffin for Toronto this season.
Yeah, I know. I know it's grade 3. I don't know how many grades. Maybe they're 4 grades, I think, when it comes to tears. So obviously grade 3, not the most major of the whole thing, but still, like that they thought they were going to rehab that. I mean, good for them, but I think surgery is probably the best. And if he's ready to roll for September, and he might not be a Toronto Maple Leaf come September. That's a reality I think everybody has to face here this summer. Is they're going to get together, they're going to have their little kumbaya, and maybe they part ways, because it's not just the solution. It ain't there.
No.
Whether that's moving on from a William Nylander or moving on from an Austin Matthews a couple years out from his contract expiring to try and replenish that cupboard, to try and bring you some players. Dennis Bernstein was on with the morning show. L.A., he's been floating Los Angeles for if Austin Matthews hits the market, watch the Los Angeles Kings. They'd offer how many first? Quentin Byfield beyond that. Anybody you want, outside probably Adrian Kempe, would probably go the way in that type of thing. And so I think Austin Matthews would totally welcome a move to Los Angeles. But again, I wonder if this is the offseason where the Leafs say, hey, you can't replace Mitch Marner with those 3 guys. Michelli, whoever the hell, Nick Waugh.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the other one that they added in the offseason. But those are 3 30-point guys to try and replace a 100-point all-star, gold medal, premier player. Can't do it. Doesn't work that way. It's not baseball. So big offseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and a big offseason, I know, for Austin Matthews.
Cam telling us by way of text, there are 3 grades. Grade 3 is a full test.
Oh, it is a 3. Okay.
Maybe I'm underestimating how bad this injury was, and maybe he wouldn't be able to play through it anyway.
Okay, yeah, so 3 grades. Okay. So 3 is the worst.
Yes.
And they thought they could not have surgery.
We saw this with like Santander and Bieber and stuff. How many times does we'll just rehab it and see how it goes? That almost never works. It feels like that just kicks the can down the road, and then eventually it's surgery anyway.
And the way surgery is today, it's not so much the slice, get in there and mess with things. It's so invasive nowadays.
Yeah.
The guys aren't on the shelf. They're rehabbing within a few weeks.
Right.
Especially, so like, I know the quad contusion is not a thing you can really repair. It's just a bruise on the quad. But that knee, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, good thing it was just the MCL and nothing else. The ACL, well, he might not be playing until like maybe January.
Right.
If it was something like that. So MCL tear, he'll be good to go for October for sure.
Let's move on to a much more enjoyable Toronto team to talk about.
Yes.
The Blue Jays. This one makes all the sense in the world. I guess there's a couple headlines with this. One, Buck Martinez is going into the new Hall of Excellence at the Rogers Center on August 29th. The other headline is they're getting a new Hall of Excellence at the Rogers Center. This is a new thing that the Blue Jays are doing. Quick side note, it's something I want the Flames to do in the new building, is have something like this, honoring the past. As you're walking through the dome, I've said before that I want there to be some stretch of it. Doesn't have to be the whole thing, but some stretch of it where it's like a Flames museum.
That's where you can put, like, when we've had, like, hey, you want to retire number 11? Well, maybe not, but hey, Michael Backlund, giant wall of all his honors and photos. honoring his commitment to the Flames when he becomes the all-time games played leader. That's something I'd like. You can move Nieuwendyk and McInnes in there, even though I believe those numbers should actually be retired by the Calgary Flames. But back to the Jays here. Go on.
Yeah, so Buck Martinez is going to be heading into it after being a part of the Jays organization for 40 years. First joined Toronto by way of a trade in the 1981 season when he was a catcher. Spent 6 seasons with the club before retiring in 1986 after a 17-year MLB career. 1 year later, he joined the Blue Jays television broadcast as a color commentator, beginning with the first of 2 stints. In between those was a managerial role with the club, 2001 to 2002. Worked as a play-by-play guy a little bit as well when Dan Schulman went to do the national thing. So a little bit of everything. Buck's also been on a lot of national broadcasts, doing some ESPN things, World Baseball Classics,
First manager for the USA, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So
Finally.
there is not one thing in baseball that Buck Martinez hasn't done. And
Ay, ay, ay. Let's get one match. Why did they pause me? Stupid skip. Skip.
Whatever. But Lucas, like, he was the left-handed bat in the platoon, and then they brought in a power left-handed bat for a platoon. So I don't know how necessarily he's going to fit on this, but we have seen the Blue Jays mix and match a lot. So we'll see. Yeah, Jimenez has certainly played his way into some of those conversations. Absolutely. One more thing before we bounce. March Madness tipping off today, but you had the first play-in game the other day.
One.
Gets going this morning.
I had it.
TCU and Ohio State got things started, and one game in, we already had 8 wins. Works around it. Harding on a kick. So the Horned Frogs, with the 66-64 win over the Buckeyes,
sucks. You can barely see it.
Yeah, and I know Connor Zary, he had a bit of good, he had a little bit of a bad one last night. I thought, on the back check on the lone Blues goal, but I'm not going to poke at that. I mean, just getting a goal for the guy was huge. And, you saw Matty Coronado break his long drought back on Monday, and Zary get one, which is only going to help the confidence. I think a lot of Flames fans want to see, okay, can Connor Zary be a guy maybe that can be a top 6 winger in the future, maybe even in the top 9. But, his ups and downs regardless, but he was finally a bit noticeable last night. First really good game I thought from him in a while.
I actually think that he's played extremely well for about 2.5 to 3 months. Like, I think back to November, and I think that he's been really, really good. So, have the points been there for him? No, like it was a 9-game, pointless 14-game goalless streak that he was on. But I still felt like throughout all of that, watching his play, like the work is there. He's been consistent in his work, and I think that's the most important thing. He's had a ton of chances as well. So I've quite liked his game for quite a while now. It's tough that he's been kind of bounced around the lineup a little bit, and that was a question I asked Ryan Huska yesterday to my coach's interview for the pregame show, and I was just, I was asking about him because we've seen him, on the fourth line as a winger and as a center on, one of the top 2 lines in the top 6, and then, playing on a line with Sharangovich and Ryan Strome last night. So he's kind of been up, down, all around, but he's handled it all in stride. So I think that one thing that he's really developing that maybe has gone a little bit under the radar and is not talked about enough is he's become a very versatile piece. And that's a really good thing to have as a tool in your tool belt as a player. Like Connor Zary, he's shown he can play in the top 6, he can play in your third line, he can play on your fourth line and be effective. He can play wing, he can play at the center ice position. Like, he won some big face-offs last night too. He got 4 and 2 in the face-offs, or well, 67%. So, for me, I think that's something that we haven't talked enough about is his ability to play up and down the lineup, and that's really, really important because not every player can do that. How many guys do we talk about, coming into the Flames, and it's like, well, they have to play in the top 6. If they're going to play in the Flames, they have to play in a top 6 role. Like, you don't say that about Connor Zary now. Can he play in a top 6 role? I think so. But he can also play on your fourth line. So I think that's huge. I really like also the chemistry that he is building with Ryan Strome. And when Strome first came in and those guys were playing on a line together, and then they broke them up. I was disappointed that they broke them up.
Got Uber Eats.
I thought they had some really good chemistry.
Order just came through. $28 tip.
Ryan Strome has been a really, really positive influence.
Wasn't expecting that.
Like, we heard him talking last night, Ryan Strome.
What's this guy doing?
The first period, and he was saying that, like, how he's encouraging Connor Zary to make plays, that he's a tenacious player. I can't remember where we were on the road trip, but it was after one of their, is it a practice or a morning skate? I think it was in Detroit at the end of the morning skate. And Ryan Strome, he joked, but I chatted with him in the dressing room afterwards. He was putting Connor Zary's
See if DoorDash.
and he joked and he called it hockey school.
Forgot the end.
So I think that,
So I was in a different
Ryan
zone.
Strome, I think he's been a really positive influence on Connor Zary as well. So, Connor Zary, to me, he's a guy that, he's been impressive to me in the way that he's stuck with his game. And hearing him talk after the game last night, like, I feel like he knows what and who he is as a player now. And I think that if he continues to stick to the identity that he has built for himself, I would say over the last 3 months, I think that the points are going to start to come more regularly for him. But yeah, that was a little bit, I was nitpicky